Hello and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to take you through a full tour of my home gym, including a full cost breakdown 2023 edition. Okay, let's go inside. Get in here, CJ, mate. Welcome to my gym that you were standing in approximately 30 seconds ago. This, by the way, on a side note, just quickly, spoiler alert, got these blinds. Turns out getting all black blinds is really hard. Firstly, the back of the blind is just white, which looks pretty and secondly, the cord was white. I painted it, it's all scratched off, so that's not worked. Anyone watching this video that makes or knows someone that makes fully black blinds with all the black stuff around it, hit me up. Let's get me some blinds, please. Right, so first things first, we literally built this gym, right? It wasn't a case of kitting out a space, we built the space. So you can go back and watch, I have a whole series on the gym build, but we built this from the ground up. The building itself, I mean, doesn't really count because I want to talk about the stuff that you guys might be getting in your gym, but just for reference, the building, which is like fully, you know, it's not like a shed, it's a legit building, a legit structure, cost £34,000. Quite a lot, isn't it? It's quite a lot of money. But I mean, at the time, I went to 4 or 5 different places that build these kind of, you know, essentially like a garden room, summer house type thing. All the quotes were between 30 and 40K. It isn't like a shed, it's not like a home-based shed, it's a proper, you could live in this, do you know what I mean? So that makes a difference. Anyway, let's get on to the stuff in the gym. So first things first, we have the flooring, right? If you look around you, this is like a 4 by 8 meter space. These floor tiles were £35 each. We have 35 of them, so that's £1,750 on flooring. We got like, I think 3 or 4 extras, and that worked out quite handy because we ended up using those on the deadlift platform. Now, there's options. You'll see some people, like it's quite common in gym flooring to have the kind of speckly floors, you know what I mean? The little white specks. I wanted that kind of clean black finish. What I will say, if you are kitting at a home gym, if you're getting flooring, clean it before you put it in. A big mistake I made, I didn't know this at the time, right? When they make this flooring, it has this kind of greasy film on it. I fitted it all in, and then I realized that you were meant to scrub that off beforehand, but I couldn't be bothered to get it out and do it. So I tried to scrub it here, didn't work. And for literally months, it was like slippery. It was like an ice rink. I was literally falling over. I couldn't deadlift properly on it. It also was picking up dirt. So I would recommend before you put the floor in, put it outside, get like a pressure washer and just absolutely rinse the whole thing. Get that grease off it, because otherwise it will be annoying down the line. Moving on to one of the, if not the most prominent item, this is key, this is a squat rack. Now this is a mammoth half rack. The difference is if you get a full rack, it comes out to like here. So you have almost like a cage, which some people like because you can have a safety in between, you can squat inside it. I'm not a big fan of a full rack for 2 reasons. Firstly, they're massive. So this would literally be out here, which takes up a huge area in the gym. Secondly, when you're lifting inside the rack, if you're trying to film it, you can't really see yourself because you've got a big bit of metal in the way. So I personally am a fan of squatting outside of the rack. If I get stuck, I can dump it on the floor, it's not a problem. That's why I've made a squat platform. But this mammoth half rack costs £1,445. But again, if you are building a home gym, if you have any interest in, you know, compound movements, in any kind of strength focused functional training, I would say a rack is an absolute must. Pretty much item number 1. Then we have 2 barbells in the gym. Barbell number 1 is this Cerakote barbell. Now I got this pretty sick black powder coated one because it matches the aesthetic. Everything, by the way, I mean 99.9% of the items in my gym are from Bulldog Gear. Now, probably kind of disclaimer right now, they sorted the entire gym out for me, so I didn't buy any of this stuff. Now, obviously, if I was, you know, buying the stuff myself from scratch, possibly a couple of the items I would change, but because Bulldog have been absolutely amazing and because I love their stuff, we've just gone all Bulldog. So just kind of bear that in mind when I'm going through these things. But the Cerakote bar, 20 kilogram Olympic barbell, so it's a little bit flexy. This was £250. And then my second barbell, which is down here, is the Texas deadlift bar. Now this, I wouldn't say it's essential, but if you deadlift, I would say it is. When you load it up, like with 200 kilograms plus. The barbell will flex, but it's like a deadlift cheat code, okay? So I would definitely, if you like deadlifting, recommend getting one. It's also slightly longer. You can get a bit more weight on the sleeve. A lot of this stuff I got during lockdown. This barbell was the only Texas deadlift bar I could find in the UK. It cost £600. So in terms of barbells, that's 850 pounds on 2 barbells. Quite a lot, mate. Right, plates. We have 2 types of plates. The predominant plate you're seeing here are the Bulldog hybrid bumper plates. So these ones. Now, I would recommend for most people, bumper plates are the way to go for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they look cool, right? Unless you're like Jamal Browner, you're not gonna be lifting 500 kilograms. Therefore, it looks nice having, lots of, big, massive plates on the bar. Also, it spreads the load. So unless you have a mega reinforced floor, my brother lifts in his literal living room, right? So having bumper plates, when you're deadlifting, it spreads that load. There's less chance of decimating the floor. A full set of these bumper plates is like 400 pounds. However, because I'm an awkward person, I didn't want just a full set. A full set is basically 2 of everything. I wanted predominantly 20. So I have kind of a set and a half plus loads of 20s. So the cost is somewhat of an estimation, but you're looking at about 1,200 pounds worth of bumper plates. Then moving on, we have these metal plates. When I go any more than like 260 kilograms, I can't fit any more weight on the sleeve. So I had to get some of these. Now these metal plates are, they're pretty horrible. I got them like from eBay, again during lockdown. So the people that were making those metal plates were making an absolute killing. Those were 100 pounds for 2 20s. I have 8 20s, so that is 400 pounds of metal plates, and that makes 1,600 pounds of total plates in the gym. Right, benches, key to any gym. You have to get a bench, you have to get an adjustable bench. Now these ones are the 0 gap adjustable bench from Bulldog. They're slightly different. If you notice, this one here has this kind of shiny finish, which is more slippy. This bad boy over here, CJ, come and get a look at this. So this has this kind of more matte, grippy finish. Now I would recommend this. This is amazing for bench press. If you are a big bench presser and you like getting an arch, you stick to this so well. There's nothing worse bench pressing than having a slippy bench, like when you slide out, it's dangerous, it's gonna ruin your bench press. So I'd recommend this. They're both amazing, they're both the same bench, just a different finish. But the good thing about these 0 gap ones are, so with a typical adjustable bench, what happens is the bench has to be like this, right? To allow the bit here to come up. So you do that with a standard adjustable bench. What it means is that when you put it down, you're left with this big gap here, which is not nice to press on because your butt cheeks and coccyx can go in that gap. These ones have this second adjustable element there, which means you can do that, close the gap, and it's a million times nicer. So they are on the expensive side, but for me, again, if you're into your big pressing movements, your compound lifts, I would say that is an amazing addition to a home gym. So they were 495 pounds each. So that's just under £1,000, 990 pounds for the pair. But again, I know people that get benches off Amazon and they end up going through 2 or 3 benches because they break. And there's nothing, how many videos have you seen of someone lying back on a bench with dumbbells and the bench collapses? I think it's a worthwhile investment. Next up, we have the lat pull down seated row. Now, obviously, for a home gym, this is a decent size. It's not massive though, right? So I can't afford to put in like 15 machines. Therefore, I've gone for, real dual purpose machines. I want one machine to do as much as possible. For example, I'd love to have like a preacher curl or like a lateral raise machine, but I can't justify that much space for one movement. So this is ideal because obviously you can do lat pull downs, you can do seated rows, you can do, that isn't a real movement. Again, I'm into big compound movements like, powerlifting, squat, bench, deadlift. So when I'm doing my accessories, my back stuff, I'll be honest, a machine for me is ideal. I don't want to be doing squats and deadlifts and then going and doing like heavy dumbbell work because it's very taxing on my lower back. Things like bent over rows for me, it's too much volume. So a seated row, a seated lat pull down is a great way to hit those muscle groups without that added stress on my lower back. This bad boy costs £2,795. I mean, I would probably put that, well, I say we're now tipping into like the kind of luxury element, i.e. not absolutely integral. Obviously with dumbbells and a barbell and a rack, you can cover most things. But like I said, if you are training every day and you're hitting those heavy compounds, the ability to alternate between machines and free weights does make a big difference with recovery. Right, leg press, calf raise / calf extension. Again, another dual purpose machine. Now, I got this predominantly for calves, right? Obviously post Achilles rupture, I was training calves like 4 times a week, and doing standing calf raise variations is mind-numbingly boring, so I wanted another way to do them. So this was great for that. Now, one word of warning on this, the stack is 100 kilograms. I'll be honest, it's not enough, okay? So if you are looking for a leg press, I would go for a plate loaded one, because unless you are, you know, exceedingly weak, you're gonna be hitting the full stack for a large number of reps. So it's not ideal. For calf raises, it's great though. What I'm gonna do is I'm either gonna extend the stack or I'm gonna get one of those gym, you know, pin things and get some more plates on. Either way, we'll find a way around it. It's still an amazing machine. I mean, I love it. I use it in every leg workout. Like I said, it's really, really handy for calf raises because I'm doing lots of calf raise variations, and the more things I can do sitting down, the better. Cost-wise, exactly the same as the lat pull-down seated row, £2,795. Right, so the other thing I missed there is the platform. So we built 2 platforms. I say we built, me and an absolute sicko called Will, the guy that built the gym for me. This is a deadlift platform. This is a squat platform. You see the squat platform is like a T. It's basically a big piece of marine ply with another piece that way. This is actually, as far as I know, one of the only, if not the only, sumo deadlift platform. Every deadlift platform you see, there is some serious sumo deadlift discrimination going on in the world of deadlift platforms, because what you'll find is the wooden bit in the middle is always very narrow, and then you get rubber, and so people like me that pull sumo end up standing like this, and your feet is either like half rubber, half wood, or full rubber, and then your feet end up slipping. Whereas here, I've made the wood much bigger, which means I can get my sumo stance, and I'm still on wood. And I even went one further, and I got some of this skater tape. This is like it's like sandpaper. It's the roughest thing ever. Your feet are never ever gonna slip on this. The flip side is I've torn about 400 pairs of socks. But what it means is your setup for your deadlift is very, very, you know, fixed. You're not gonna go anywhere, and I absolutely love it. I think we got 5 big sheets of marine ply in total. The skater tape was like, I don't know, 20 quid. This is the offcuts from our flooring. In total, the cost for the 2 squat platform and the deadlift platform was £375. I mean, the deadlift platform for me is a must. The squat platform was more of a luxury. However, I wanted to get it just to be safe because I haven't got the full rack. Obviously, if you have a full rack with safeties and you get stuck at the bottom of a squat, you can dump the bar, it lands on the safeties. If I dump a bar here, it's falling on the floor. I was a bit scared about dropping it on the floor. So here, I've got the build-up of flooring, marine ply, and more flooring. I've dumped 270 kilograms from like shoulder height on the floor a couple of times, and the floor's still here, so it worked. Moving on, we have these CPU rubber dumbbells. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I think these look f***ing sick. I think they're aesthetic. Like, I had the option to get these or the kind of hex dumbbells. I think these, A, look way better, and B, they're more efficient. Hex dumbbells are quite big and bulky. I'm not a big fan of them personally. I think these look nice. The only thing that stresses me out is that I frequently spend time just getting them all lined up like this, which is probably not necessary, but it just looks nicer. But yeah, this was like, I guess you could say it goes into the luxury in the sense that I have dumbbells from, I've got 2.5 upwards in the cupboard. The rack starts from 10 and goes up to 50s. Probably excessive, you can get like adjustable dumbbells, but this is very practical. I have this place to put it and it looks sick. And it means that you can have 2 or 3 of you using dumbbells at the same time. Now the full rack, including the dumbbells, so the dumbbells themselves, I've done this based on pricing right now. So if you buy a full set of 2.5s up to 50s, that's gonna cost £5,000, which now I'm saying that seems like a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money, but again, it's like a luxury item. They're amazing. I've used them a bazillion times. Obviously, covers everything I'm ever going to want to do with dumbbells. And then the dumbbell rack itself, you're looking at £1,800, which means this whole thing you see before your eyes here, dumbbells and CPU dumbbell rack, £6,800. Holy That's quite a lot. Next up, we have mirrors. Now, I have a funny story about mirrors. When I say funny, I mean extremely unfunny for me. So I'm very impatient. I wanted mirrors on the walls. These are, I think they're like 6mm glass mirrors. They wouldn't come straight away. And I saw you could get acrylic mirrors. I read a couple of reviews that said, oh, they're great. So I stupidly got some acrylic mirrors. They could ship them the following, do you want me to give you a chance to go? Yeah. They could ship them the following day, which was good enough for me. They were pretty cheap. I got acrylic mirrors. Worst decision I've ever made. We spent like 2 hours getting them in. We glued them to the wall. We had this horrible moment where you have to peel the thing back. And as I was peeling it back, immediately saw it was like a circus mirror. Like, it was so bad. Acrylic mirrors, do not get them. They are terrible. Unless you have Leonardo da Vinci and Pythagoras building your gym wall, it is never gonna be, you literally have to be to 0.1 of a degree completely flat. Any tiny fluctuation in the wall is gonna cause a big bump in your mirror, and it looks so bad. It looks like you're in a circus. Like, you know, this wall was a new build. It's ply, it's super flat. Even with this wall, the mirrors were so bumpy. So I cried. I then ordered the glass mirrors. They came a week later. We put them over the top, and these are amazing. Super flat, super sturdy, super hard wearing, but they cost £540, which, I mean, I feel like it's pretty good. This is a lot of mirror. It was terrifying fitting these. We had to carry them in through the door at an angle and fit them. But I'm really happy with them. I think they look really good. And like I said, the key is they're flat. You could put this on a slightly bumpy wall. It's not gonna be a problem. So like I said, just to reiterate, do not get acrylic mirrors, get glass mirrors. Dual cable pulley. This was the first machine? Yeah, this is the first machine I got, the only machine I had for a while. And I would say this is like probably #1 on your list of machines. If like me, if you have a limited space, I would definitely prioritize a dual cable pulley or a cable pulley of some kind, because you can do everything on it. If you have a cable pulley and you have an adjustable bench, you can do pretty much any exercise on the planet. So it's very, very useful, extremely versatile. So again, going back to what I said about the space, having limited space, wanting to get as much as possible out of each item, this is absolutely perfect. This bad boy cost £3,225. But again, when you consider the number of things you can do on it, the fact that it covers pretty much everything you're ever gonna wanna do, I think it's a worthwhile investment. The benefit to it being a dual cable is that it allows you to do stuff like flies and lateral raises, which is obviously quite handy. Also, if there's 2 of you there, 2 of you can use it at the same time. However, if you are very limited on space or you have very limited budget, getting a single cable pulley is still going to be very useful, and it's still going to allow you to do a whole range of movements. So I would definitely go for one of those over, like, you know, any other machine. If it's like, you know, if you have a choice of only getting one thing, I would say some kind of cable pulley for me would be #1 on the list. Now, it came with a few attachments like these kind of, you know, pretty basic handles. I got a couple more. So the main ones are this kind of easy bar, W bar thing, and then like a rope. These bad boys, the Morsia cable cuffs, very useful. All the attachments together, you're talking probably less than £100. I got them in various places, mainly off kind of Amazon and stuff. The one attachment I haven't got that maybe we'll get at some point, will be quite handy. It's basically a straight bar that attaches to both sides. The beauty of that is that you effectively turn this into a Smith machine. Do you know what I mean? So you could go in, you can do bench, you can do various bits, but it's one single thing. So I probably will get that at some point. Probably would recommend it again if you have limited stuff, because you basically get a dual cable pulley and a Smith machine in one. And last but by no means least, we have my machine leg extension, leg curl. This is one of my more recent additions. Again, it's a dual purpose machine, which was key for me. This for me, I'd say, is probably my most valuable, my most used machine, because I know that some people are psychopaths and they like doing stuff like stiff-legged deadlift with dumbbells, Bulgarian split squats with dumbbells. If I'm doing squats and deadlift at the start of my workout, the last thing I want to do is more free weight stuff for my legs. So having a machine I can just sit on and do leg extensions and leg curls on is an absolute dream for me, and it means I'm far more likely. Before I got this, my leg workouts basically consisted of squats and deadlifts and then going home, okay, because I couldn't be asked to do more stuff. Now, with the leg press and especially with this, you know, it's so easy for me to sit down and do it. It makes it far more likely that I'm gonna get that leg volume in. And this bad boy cost £2,785. And that is everything. That is my entire home gym. This has been, forget now, but I think it's close to 3 years in the making. It's funny, when I first built the gym, like I literally had a rack and dumbbells and that was it, and I was happy with that. And at the time I thought it was great. I've now obviously since added so many items. I remember people at the time saying, you know, a home gym, it's never finished. You always end up adding things. I've done that so many times, but I do genuinely think I'm pretty much done now. Firstly, there's no more space. I did, up until recently, I had a curve runner here, but as soon as I got this leg press, there was no longer enough room. One machine had to go, and the curve runner was my least frequently used item, so that went. But I think I'm pretty much good. I mean, I would like to have, one thing I would love is like a lateral raise machine, but again, it's just a luxury that I can't really, you know what I mean, where's it gonna go? It's not gonna fit. So maybe further down the line, if I get more space, that will be an option. But right now, I think my gym is pretty much good to go. And to be honest, I love it. Like I literally love the gym. I'm in this gym for hours every single day. I work in here and stuff. It's in the garden of my new house. When the new house is done, this will be 10 meters from my house. So it'll be absolutely amazing. In terms of the cost, including the building, the entire thing, it costs £60,050. Okay, now if you exclude the building, because obviously the building doesn't count. If you're kitting out a home gym, 99% of people already have a space ready to go, whether that's a garage or a basement or whatever. The equipment alone, everything you see before your eyes, £26,050. Now, I don't have much context because I've only ever built one home gym, but I guess it's a lot of money. But again, things to bear in mind are, I got, you know, all this stuff from Bulldog. If you are on a budget, there are so many ways to save money. For a start, Facebook Marketplace, you can pick some up. You know, if someone is clearing out, I've got a friend who has a friend who's just kitted out a big commercial gym. They got rid of like 50 machines. He picked up all these things, you know, so cheap. So there are definitely ways. It's just a case of looking around, you know, and speaking to people. Go and speak to gyms because they will frequently upgrade their stuff. But yeah, there are ways to do it on a budget. There are ways, like I said, to be clever with getting those multi-purpose machines that do more than one thing so you can make the most of your space. And a lot of it as well comes down to your preferences, right? For me, I am kind of, I guess, still first and foremost a powerlifter. I like lifting heavy. I like squatting and benching and deadlifting. So this setup here is ideal. For most people, having a separate deadlift and squat platform is probably excessive, probably not a good use of space. So, you know, if you're into CrossFit, you're into functional stuff, you probably want to have more of a rig and more functional stuff. If you're into cardio, you want to have more cardio stuff. So obviously, you know, make a list of the stuff you enjoy doing, your fitness goals, what machines and equipment is going to help you get to those goals, and then prioritize and use the space you have best. But that, my friends, that is my home gym 2023 edition. I think, right, at some point in the future, when the house is done, what would be wild, right? This is like a little low-key kind of goal / dream of mine, is to have like a Morsia HQ. So a massive, insane, wild gym that is open to the public. Maybe one day that will happen. Like I said, the house needs to be done first because that is single-handedly going to bankrupt us. But when that's done, then that is something that will be on the cards for sure. And at that point, with that size, I could get all kinds of machines because it is nice. I love my gym, but training like bodybuilding, you do definitely get bored using the same stuff all the time. So it would be nice to have, you know, 30 machines so you can just rotate round and not be doing the same stuff. But like I said, I'm enormously grateful that I have this setup. I think it is amazing. I do definitely take it for granted, but I do love it. I think it's amazing. It's an amazing space to train and film in. I'm talking too long. I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. Have your home gym chat in the comments. What would be your go-to machines or go-to equipment in your home gym? Do you have a home gym? Let me know. I'm intrigued to know what you guys got. What do you like? What do you not like? How much did it cost? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, drop it a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.